I'm originally from Ohio.
How does someone from Ohio like Texas heat?
Love Texas heat. I
Wow.
love it.
Good night.
Yeah, love it. Well, I don't miss, in Ohio we had snow and I don't miss any of the snow or the winters. So I love the heat. I love the water. Yeah. We've been here 12 years. My sons and I and my husband. Yeah.
So tell me about your service in the Navy. If you could just give me 2 or 3 sentences about, well, now I need a second. But she's going to come back over here and put some stuff on.
Sorry, I
Okay.
think when I adjusted the light a little bit, it kind
That's
of
all right. Thank you.
cut just for 1 second.
So tell me about growing up in Ohio.
Small town, not even a Walmart, one high school. So I grew up with 4 sisters, and so what we would do to spend time or to pass time is play softball and things like that. But it was a very small town, one high school. I couldn't even tell you what the population is, but very small. One grocery store, yeah, one high school. I keep focusing on that because here in Texas, there's so many high schools everywhere you go. But yeah, one high school. Yeah.
So tell me about the time you kind of thought about joining the military.
To be honest, I never even thought about it until I graduated high school, went to Ohio University, and didn't do well. Academically failed out, and it was the summer of my freshman year in college, and I just sat on my bed and I heard this voice. What about joining the Navy? And I hadn't even thought about the military before college, and if I had done better in school, I probably would not have joined the Navy. But I was sitting on my bed on that one day, and I heard that voice, go join the military. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna go join the military. So what I did was I went to my mom and I went to my dad. I went to my mom first and I said, Mom, what do you think about me joining the Navy? Oh, you wouldn't do well at all, she said. I said, okay, I'm gonna go find a recruiter and sign up and prove you wrong or right that I would do well. I did the same thing with my dad. Dad, I'm about to join the Navy. Oh, you wouldn't do well at all. So guess what? I found the recruiter. And so in October 1999, I joined the Navy and did very well. Very well in boot camp, very well when I graduated my school, very well in the fleet.
Why'd they think that you wouldn't do well?
Can I close the door over there real quick?
Yeah. Why does he need to close the door?
hearing something.
Why did they think that you wouldn't do well?
I'm not sure. I think oftentimes people put on you what they can't see themselves doing. And going to the military was a challenge, or is a challenge for people, And I just believe in my heart of hearts that they didn't know. I was one of 4 daughters. They didn't know what my purpose was in life. And again, I just think that oftentimes when people think that you can't make something, they can't see themselves doing it. So I think that's what my mom and dad, they just couldn't see themselves accomplishing that. And so they put that on me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When you got out, what was going on? How long did you serve?
I served 6.5 years. During that time, I was on the USS Baton for my first 3 years of the Navy, and then I transitioned my job from working on the flight deck to becoming, I worked in public affairs. And we were one of the first ships to respond to September 11th. And we were in the water for 7 months. And then I came back, and my husband, we were married for 3 years. He's a Marine, and we were separated for 3 years because of our active duty status. And for the first time when I got back from September 11th, or from being out in sea, it was the first time after 3 years of being married that we lived in the same space. And so to my surprise, my father was on the pier greeting me when I got back from that deployment, And so my mother and my father they think it was their idea that I joined the Navy, even though they said I couldn't do it, And that's one thing that drove me to do well, because oftentimes when people say you can't do something, you want to prove them wrong, that yes, you can do it. So that was the driving force of, I wanted to leave my environment of growing up in Cambridge, Ohio, which was a very small town. My mother, an alcoholic, my father, a gambler, gambled all of our money away. We moved from place to place to place. So I had to leave Ohio, And so to hear them say that it was their idea for me to go when they discouraged me from even making anything with my life, it was disheartening, but I just kept smiling and said, "You're right. You're right. I did well. It's not your idea." But I did well, and it was good to see them on the pier.
Maybe that was their strange way of complimenting you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you did do it.
Right.
It was all my idea.
Right, yeah. Very strange indeed. Yeah.
So tell me about how you came to Houston.
So when I got out of the military or the Navy in 2006, my husband and I decided that we wanted to leave Norfolk. That's where I was stationed for 6.5 years. And we just really felt that we were led to be here. And we moved here December 31st, New Year's Eve, 2005. And our sons and I and my husband, we have been here for almost 12 years. And we loved it ever since.
So tell me about the Houston veteran community in 2006 and 2007.
Sure.
What was going on at that time?
The veteran community in 2006 and 2007, I had no idea even existed. I never connected. I didn't connect with a veteran service organization. Didn't even know they were even around. When I got out of the Navy in 2006, I was a stay-at-home mom for a year. We had our 3-year-old son at the time. I was pregnant with my second son when I was transitioning out of the military. And I was trying to find my way. And so I was a stay-at-home mom for a year. And then my husband said to me, "Mea, you have to get a job." And I really didn't know where to look, but I went online and I applied to I actually applied on workintexas.com. And right after applying, putting my application on workintexas.com, I got a call from a lady from KinderCare Learning Centers. And I was thinking to myself, there is no way I am working in a child care. I'm a Navy veteran. I traveled the world. I was in public affairs. I, wrote stories and did many interviews. And I'm not going to work in a child care center. But there was a plan for me. And I think that sometimes you have to go to point C before you can make it to point Z. And so I applied and I got hired with KinderCare Learning Centers. But I didn't know of any veteran service organizations. It was difficult for me to be a Navy veteran into a civilian job and trying to find my way without any support from outside community resources. I didn't even know they existed. And you don't realize how much you change and how much you need support of people who have like backgrounds and who are familiar, where there's a familiarity and a commonality. You don't realize how much you need that support. And I didn't have that where I was going. However, there was a lady by the name of Sarah Sawyer who saw past my military ways, if you would. I had no idea how to speak to people. I was screaming and yelling because that's what I thought, that's how you speak to people, and because that's what I did. I mean, I didn't scream and yell in the Navy, but I would tell you what to do because of what was on my shoulder. I was a work center supervisor, so you didn't have to sing songs and be sweet. You just told people what to do, and they did it because of what was because of your rank. So I didn't have the support. I didn't realize I needed support, but I made it through, even on KinderCare Learning Centers, and I was part of their leadership team, and did very well in there. But I learned a lot being a civilian veteran at the time.
So how did Grace After Fire come about?
So in 2000, Grace After Fire came about in 2012. I was actually looking to transition out of the KinderCare Learning Centers, and I reached out to Reginald Parker with TVC, and he told me about this organization, about Grace After Fire. Grace After Fire was formed in 2008 to help women veterans help themselves, but I had no idea that Grace After Fire even existed. And he told me at that time, in 2012, that there was a position open for an outreach coordinator, and I applied and got hired, and I became the outreach coordinator for Grace After Fire in 2012. And what we did and what we still do is we empower women veterans to be their best selves. And what we do is we provide hope and purpose and connection, giving women veterans, letting them know that there's hope beyond where you might find yourself, and we can give you the resources to find your to refine your purpose. When you're in the military and you're wearing your uniform, you know what your purpose is. You have a task every single day. You don't even have to think about it. But once you get out and take off that uniform, sometimes, myself included, is that you don't know what your purpose is beyond now. And so Grace After Fire helps women veterans refine their purpose. And then the third thing, we connect women veterans to not only them to each other, but to their community, and let them know that their community is supporting them, and there's great things out there for them.
What do you think changed between 2006 to 2012 when you first came to Houston, and then all of a sudden this materializes?
Sure.
What was the need in the community?
I think the need in the community was that the society realized that women and veterans are in existence. We need support. You know, there's wars going on, and I think just society just realized that we have to help these men and women who have served our country. We have to put something into place. And I just think, you know, organizations just kind of came about. And I'm not saying that all organizations started in 2012, and maybe they were out there or even before then. I think when there's something that you need, you search for it. But I didn't come to know, again, those organizations might have already been there, but I didn't realize it until I became part of Grace After Fire, until I joined the team in 2012. And that's where I met many other organizations in the community.
So tell me how you provide your service and how you get clients.
Sure. The way we provide our service is we collaborate with other veteran service organizations. Currently, we are in the Combined Arms Center, and there's 13 resident organizations within our center and 43 member organizations. And what that simply means is we're a one-stop shop for veterans. And so veterans can come through our doors or call us on the phone. And if they did either one of those, we can connect them to our website or the Combined Arms website to fill out a profile, and then we will connect them to whatever their need is, whether they need financial need assistance or connected to a peer-to-peer support group or connected to their community to get a resource, or maybe they just want to be part of social events and just connect with other women veterans. We have retreats and social events throughout the month as well, so we can just connect them to whatever their need is, either via phone or if they come through our center.
You have answered almost everything in a very compact way. I like that. It's going to look nice.
Okay.
So tell me what your commitment to women's veterans is and what keeps you doing this.
Sure. My commitment to women veterans is to help them live their best life. And I keep doing this because I myself am a woman veteran, and I will continue to do that until every woman veteran is living their best life and being their best self, and whatever that looks like. I know it's different for every woman veteran, but I just have a passion for women veterans and for veterans to just be their best self and live their best life.
So it's said that women are the most visible service members and the most invisible veterans. But there's a movement now to change all that. And it kind of started in the 2006, 2007 era. What do you think about the movement, and what do you think is going to be the contributing factors to really setting things up for success?
Sure. You know, women veterans are coming out and they're showing up. They're coming out and they're showing up, and they are identifying themselves. I believe a few years ago that women veterans didn't always identify themselves, and I love to see women veterans in the forefront in the movement of, you know, being recognized for what we're doing. And I think today women veterans are breaking glass ceilings, and we have to be noticed because we're doing those things. And so I just think that more and more women veterans are going to be breaking glass ceilings, and we're going to be seen for not only what we're doing now in our communities, but for the services that we did when we donned the uniform.
What do you think about the veterans in Houston?
Strong. I think veterans in Houston are strong and courageous, and they have purpose and they have drive to do whatever it is that they are meant to do.
Good job. You're changing a lot of lives. Does it ever strike you when you're sitting alone by yourself maybe you have a bigger purpose that maybe you
Yeah.
haven't exactly seen yet? You're young.
I'm young, you know, and I know as an you know, myself individually, but us as an organization, we are changing lives. And I don't really realize that until we see people who come through our door and want to just greet us and thank us and hug us for what we're doing. Oftentimes, we don't get to meet the people that we're talking to on the phone. But when we hear those stories of, you know, women that are sleeping in their cars and they come into Combined Arms and we're able to connect them with resources like Catholic Charities and Haven of Hope and those types of things to give them a place to live, that you don't realize how much you're impacting not only the veteran, but their whole family. So when I'm laying in my bed at night or if I have my door closed in my office, I get emotional and get choked up at the fact that we're changing lives beyond what we can actually see. Because it not only impacts the veteran who's sitting across from us or the veteran on the phone, but it impacts their children and their children's children and their spouses and their aunts and their uncles. It impacts lives beyond just the person in front of us.
Good job, Mia.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything that I left out?
No, I felt like I was just rambling.
No, I was you did it. Good. Let's talk about peer support while I still have you here.
Okay.
What do you think, how do you think peer support, like the table talk and the Color Me Camo,
Mm-hmm.
how do you think that broadens your opportunities?
So before you answer that, can I turn off that one thing that's gets louder and louder?
I can't hear a
I can
thing.
hear whatever he thinks.
When you have the headphones on,
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's interesting. I couldn't hear a thing.
What do you hear, Eric?
It's some machine. It's cutting right through. Things that work.
And is the microphone fine?
Okay, sorry.
We're all peering into the microphone.
Is that better?
I hear a humming.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is now.
It's fine, we'll get some room tone later and we'll make it work. So how do you think peer support like Color Me Camo, Table Talk broadens opportunity and opens minds?
Table Talk Color Me Camo, first, it's a great way it's a safe place for women veterans to come and talk to other veterans. And we believe here at Grace After Fires that recognizing where you are in life and those types of things, the first step to healing is to talk about it, and Grace After Fire providing the Table Talk Color Me Camo allows people to do that. So I think that coming together and meeting other people outside of your circle is very important, because you never know what you don't know. You never know who is in those circles. You never know what opportunities can come out of that until you actually come in and you start telling your story. I think that's how a lot of women veterans are getting jobs and getting connected to this veterans service organization and that veterans service organization or this opportunity, because they have come into a group with more people than just themselves. And it's just opening up life-changing opportunities.
I think that's got it. Okay. Good job.
Thank you, Pacifica.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why she's
Yeah,
such
that's
a
all right.
We've got,
That's what we did before.
we've got one more, and we can do it